As we always do this, I'm going to talk to the camera for 2 seconds, and then the rest of it's just me, you, and I chatting. So today I'm John from Jumpers Junction, and today I am joined by the two-time American record holder, both indoor and outdoor, 3 U.S. indoor championships, 1 outdoor championships, Olympian, currently at Budapest, about to showcase U.S. talent, the one, the only Tori Franklin. Tori, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, just so people know, it's pretty early here in the U.S. Central Time, 7 o'clock, but it's not early over there. What time is it over there?
It is 2 p.m.
2 p.m. Y'all been up for a while, kind of going
Yeah,
through
I've
the
had
process.
breakfast, lunch, training, everything already.
We're going to talk about your training in just a sec, because I'm curious about kind of like the process that you go through. But I wanted to just kind of talk about your story, right? So you started out at Michigan State, and then you've progressed. One day YouTube will let us actually show images on here, but I was looking at your progression, okay,
hmm
from college up, and it is one of the coolest progressions seen, setting almost every year, setting a new PB. I mean, it's like it's so steady. It's like it's 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, which is so cool because usually you see a lot of people that'll real
That's
quickly, kind of
true.
like 25, 26 years old, and then
hmm
have a drop off. But you've been so consistent. How have you been able to be so consistent over the years, every year setting a new personal record?
First of all, I'd like to say I appreciate you saying that because although I have been kind of PBing progressively throughout the years, I haven't always felt like very consistent with my competitions. So that's nice to see that, like, big picture, I am like steadily improving. So that's nice. Um, But also, yeah, I've never even sat and thought about that. So you're bringing information to me about my career and progression. So that's awesome. I'm a student, I always want to continue learning and finding that coach, that situation, that mindset that is the best for me, like the optimal of all three. That's helped me kind of improve little by little.
And speaking of coach, so you are currently training out in Greece, is that correct?
That's correct.
Tell me about that transition going from the U.S. out to Greece. I know it's beautiful over there, and I'm really curious about like how that transition has, where it came from, and then how's it going.
hmm so I last year in March was the Indoor World Championships in Serbia, and I had a year of not very great competition or marks or anything like that. And I knew that I needed to make a big change in order to be prepared for the 2022 World Championships. So I talked to a coach that I had known since 2017, who was friends with my previous coach, and I already knew his coaching style. And so I figured that this was something that would be more beneficial for me in my career. And of course, I love living overseas. So I was ready to jump on that too.
What's the coaching style that like you really like kind of fell into?
Mhm. So typically American coaches tend to be very like power based and this, yeah, so like everything's like boom, 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 power, go 150%. And yes,
Yeah.
it's
Oh, yeah.
very like, go.
Yeah.
He's like, of course, we have intense training, but it's all like easy, light, play, flow. And
Mhm.
that allows for everyone to be happy, everyone to be healthy, and to remember that we're just kids out here playing. Yes, we get paid for it, but that's why we started it. And it kind of like keeps that energy.
That's awesome. I'm a huge like proponent of like play and having fun. So I'll
Mhm.
coach young kids, and every single at the end of it, we always do some kind of game. So that it's either the beginning or the end, but we do a game to like they know at practice they're gonna have a game to play. Like one time we raced, and everybody had to do a speed walking race at the end of practice, and that was the kind of things. The whole time they had to get rid of it. So I'm really excited you say that because I've seen some of the interviews you do, and you just always have like this energy that coming from you. It's contagious. It really is, and it's so cool to see that some athletes, they get very serious, and
Mhm.
there's a place for being very serious, but then there's also a place for enjoying what you do and then letting other people see it. And
Yeah.
so, but I have seen some. I've seen some pictures of you as soon as you jump, where you're just like,
Yeah.
you got the fire too, which is really cool.
Yeah. I definitely have the best of both worlds.
That's awesome. So with this whole transition of going from an elite college jumper to a steady progression, every year getting better. I know we talked about some of these accolades that you've accomplished. You've
Mhm.
you've been doing this for so long, and so I guess you finally took the time to kind of write it down, and you wrote a memoir. It's available on Amazon right now, right?
It is.
It's You Anthems, Stories and Reflections of Celebrations. I wish I had a copy right now where I can just hold it up. I don't.
Good.
Afterwards, you can check the link in the description and it will be there, a link to how to do it. But tell me about the memoir.
Okay, so first of all, I'll explain a little bit of what a U anthem is.
Okay.
So, an anthem, by definition, is a praise or song of celebration. And there was a period in my life where I was feeling very low, not having a very high level of self worth. I was pretty depressed. And I went through this period of trying to find a way to build my self love again, to build a sense of love for life as well. And so that's when I created the Tory Anthem, which is basically just anything and everything that celebrates me and who I am.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The
And
way that's amazing too.
thank you.
It's so true. So you've wrote down this. I see a lot. Some people are starting to comment on here.
Mhm.
But I see. So you wrote it down, and how long did it that like process of that self discovery and figuring out what you wanted to say and how you wanted to word that? How long did that take? And that process.
Mhm. Well, so the book is in two parts. The first part I started writing in 2019. And I finished that part maybe in like 2021. And I thought the book was going to be done. That first part of the book is pretty much my mental health journey, my healing journey. And it's also the section that has the tips and tricks that I give to other people who want to work on their mental health journey. The second half was written in like 6 months. And that was my athletic career journey from doing really terrible at Tokyo up until Worlds last year, where I was the first medalist in the women's triple jump. So it's both of them have their own process and journey, and they just come together really well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Um, and so, in addition to the book, something that you told me is something that you're
Mhm.
starting to develop or go about is starting a nonprofit. So, woman of many talents. But so, I'm a huge component or proponent of athletes. If you have a voice, being able to use that voice and put it towards something positive that provides an impact to the world. So, tell me about what you're doing. I'm excited to hear.
Mhm. Yeah, so I started a nonprofit. It's called Live Happy Retreats. And basically, what it does is give inner city kids the opportunity to travel the world. And it's not just to travel, that's just one of the methods that we use to help kids open their minds to the other possibilities of ways of life.
Mhm.
So, on these retreats, they would obviously get to experience a different culture, different languages, things like that. They would see nature the way most kids who live in inner cities never get to see nature, teaching them mental health and mental wellness practices like yoga, journaling, meditation, things like that, and just helping them to having a deeper understanding of themselves and their connection to all of us and to the world.
That's awesome. That's so
Mhm.
yogi.
Huh?
Are you a big yogi doing
I
yoga?
am. Yes.
Go. I feel like with especially with jumpers, like we're so elastic, right?
Mhm.
And if you don't balance it out, right, by stretching and by doing active these long isometric holds where you're really into it. And if you don't understand how to breathe, so many
Breathing.
so many people don't understand how to breathe. And I'm like, well, if you
Yeah.
breathe, you can't relax. And so yoga, I mean, it really takes it out. So if anybody's watching this later, because I know a lot of people watch these after the fact, because it is pretty early right now, but if you're watching this later, go go on to YouTube and just type in yoga and learn just the fundamentals of yoga. It
Yeah.
helps you in the long run.
Do like a 15-minute, 30-minute yoga video, anything that you find on YouTube, and just relax into it and allow yourself to connect to your body.
It's so true. It's so cool. I really like that you do that. Have you done any yoga while you're up there so far?
Here,
Yeah. I find it cool.
uh,
Cool spot
I
out.
have no, I haven't, but I did a really nice meditation this morning, which
Uh,
was awesome.
there you go. There you go.
Mhm.
Um, okay, so I wanted to now kind of get into Budapest, the competition so far. So it's been a pretty dramatic competition so far. If we, there's the sprints that we could spend a long time about, but I want to focus here on the jumps because jumpers here. So start on the women's long jump side. Um, you had an American come out and do really, really well. Tara Davis Woodhall at silver.
Mhm.
And then you had Ivana Valletta, who she's what? It's been 10 years that she's been searching for this or something. She jumped
Yeah.
7.14 meters. That's just a monster jump. What was really
Mhm.
cool about watching that, I want to get your input on it, but she fouled on that first jump. That was, I mean, that looked even further. So it's like seeing her progress and seeing Tara also. Is it Tara or Tara? Because I did a video on her and everybody was commenting, said I was saying it wrong. It's
I
Tara.
think it's Tara.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. I said it wrong. It's like very simple, but
Yep.
you win some, you lose some. But um, in the women's long jump, something I saw, and I also happened to Will Clay in the triple jump.
Yeah.
And I wanted so when people land on the board, right? If you pass
Mhm.
the line, you foul, right?
Yeah.
So now we have these high speed, ultra high D, slow mo cameras that tell you like to the smallest increment if you foul or not. But
Yes.
they're calling fouls on toe off now, which I don't
Mhm.
doing in the past as much. So what are your thoughts on like what's the process? What are they doing?
I I don't really like it. I don't like it at all, actually. I liked the plasticine better because if you are going to say on toe off, you can see if your toe does like get that plasticine just a little. And like there isn't an argument. You can't argue it. You can go over there, you can look at it, and you'll see just that the smallest little bit that's in the clay. But with them using like the electronics now and they say that the toe is off, but there's nothing to really see. You can't see it, it's just so small. I don't really think that's fair.
Yeah.
Um, so because first of all, technology messes up all the time, like
Hmm.
all the time. People's jumps are measured wrong, and so who's to say that maybe the
The system.
whatever the line is, yeah, the system is messed up or too sensitive with deciding on if somebody's foot goes over that line or not.
Yeah, and when they showed so when Will Clay jumped on, I think it was his fourth or fifth jump,
Mhm,
they showed him make contact, right? He's behind,
mhm,
and then he goes up, and as he's coming off, you could see like the spikes were still on the ground. He hadn't crossed, and it looks like the spikes were off the ground, and then he's
mhm.
fine, right? Because your foot is going to go past the line, and
It's
so
yeah.
yeah, you're gonna move past it. So it's um it's it's a challenge. But one thing I do like is that they are being a little bit more willing to let people jump and protest, because
Yeah.
Kayla Smith, they ended up letting her take a third, fourth, and I think even a fifth round jump because they didn't measure her third jump, I believe it was, in the long jump. Um,
Mhm.
so it is cool that they are being a little more um, open to that. So if you get one of those situations, are you protesting?
I'm definitely gonna protest if something like that happens, but my goal is to be in the middle or kind of towards the back of the board. My coach says, "We don't need all that. You jump far, you're fine." So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Um, so how are you preparing right now for the triple jump? So tell me about when they are, and then the process tomorrow, right?
It's tomorrow. Prelims is tomorrow. I already had my session this morning. We just did a little bit of tonos
Mhm.
and which is like some lifting. And so now I'm going to rest the rest of the day, just lay down, watch some movies, figure out what I'm gonna do with my hair, paint my nails, you know.
Go through the process. You're gonna have the TV on the background, kind of watching the
Yes, I'll have it on later, see what's going on.
what. So tomorrow.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think. In the U.S. it's early, but for there, y'all, what time are y'all jumping that time?
7:10
7,
PM.
7:10 p.m. So you have a full day.
Mhm.
Get there. What time do y'all get up and start getting ready? Because a lot of people like they see that y'all jump, right? They see you out there competing, but then there's a long process that's not just physically getting ready, not
Yeah.
just your outfit on, the transportation, but there's also the mindset, right? So what
Mhm.
do you start preparing from? Okay, you wake up and then there's a certain time you start the process. What's the process?
I would say technically my process starts tonight. I lay out my uniform tonight and I have my little I'm a writer, I take notes. So I have an agenda of my day-to-day schedule, like 7:30, wake up, 8:20, eat breakfast, 9:10, shake out, 10 o'clock, take a nap, like wake up. Like I have everything written. So yeah, my process starts tonight and the whole day tomorrow is just so I don't have to think. I just check my phone, what is my schedule that I made, and I follow it exactly. Like, oh, I have 2 minutes until nap. Well, I will wait until those 2 minutes are passed and then wake up exactly when it says.
That's awesome. So you find scheduling helps you, like actually
Yeah.
writing stuff down, not just taking notes on your phone.
hmm
Is it just what's the process? What's the mindset behind actually physically writing stuff down?
well, I don't like to always have to be on my phone, always having to check my phone. I think it's too easy to get distracted or to end up on Instagram or something like that. And so I just really want to stay in this present moment and recognize how I feel and where I am and what I'm here for. So I try to stay away from that as much as possible.
Will you get on Instagram tomorrow at all, or will you just?
Probably,
Prob-
yeah.
I know some people are like, no, I can't look, can't Google my name. Well, you never want to Google your name, but, you know.
I just randomly gonna Google my name today.
But uh, that's really cool. So tomorrow we have three U.S. jumpers out competing. You are the very first person to medal, or very first American to medal in the World Championship
hmm
jump, which is a amazing feat. Congratulations on that last year,
Thank
and
you.
it was on U.S. soil too.
hmm
That was also probably just really cool. Such a cool experience. Tell me about that experience and how you're using that experience you have to kind of launch you into this world.
Yeah. That experience was, it was really amazing, and it's not just the competition itself and the result of that competition, it was the journey and progression to that
Mhm.
competition. That's what really was so transformative about all of it, because I felt like I was really supported and guided on that journey to the medal, and I already knew it was coming. So when it happened, of course, there was a lot of emotion, but at the same time, I was like, yes, this is what I saw happening for myself, and now I just have this peace. Um,
So,
yeah. So going in, say it.
so you visualized it before happening.
Yeah,
This is exactly what's going to happen, and then you let just what was going to happen happen. That's
exactly.
awesome. That's awesome. There's a bunch of comments popping in here.
Mhm.
Problem is they don't
They don't stay.
display. So if you're writing comments, I'm trying to find them. Do you think that only the top 8 from qualifying should go straight through to the final event and they've disappeared?
Oh, if you click the comment button on the top right corner and click, live chat, they stay for longer, I think.
Oh, there we go. All
Yeah.
right. Do you think that only the top 8 from qualifying should go straight through to off and they disappeared? Off to the final. Wow. 12. Would it increase the overall quality of the finals? So do you think everybody should go through to the finals if they're top 12? Or I think he's asking if everybody should get like full jumps, full 6 jumps from the finals. I think that's what they're asking, or the usual like
Wait,
3 then an extra 3. I think that's what he's asking.
I don't get it.
So okay, I think so when you go through I think he's talking about the actual finals,
Okay.
qualifiers finals. How you first go through, everybody gets 3 jumps, and
Mhm,
additional top get an additional 3 jumps.
mhm.
This is a hard comment to answer. Let's see. Only the top into the finals, not top 12. Oh, okay. Thank you for clarifying. Only the top. So do you think?
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Um, no, because the prelims is like 24 people, I think, something like that. So, and a normal field will be 12 people. So the finals day is just like a normal field of people. That's how it starts. So I think that's fine, the way that it is. Otherwise, when we go into the finals day with just 8 people, then everybody gets all 6 jumps, and that just feels weird.
Yeah. Yeah. You need like a little bit of separation. A little bit of separation.
Yeah.
You gotta have
You need to have that fear of risk, like, "Oh,
right.
shoot, like, I might not make finals." Like, somebody has to not make finals.
And it also messes up the strategy, right? Because you strategize,
Mhm.
get your first jump, then you can be a little bit more risky. But if you don't get that first jump, then you need to make sure your second jump you're on the board, right? So I think there's some strategy that goes into how aggressive you are in your drive, pushing out, etc. So
Yeah.
it's that's a good comment. It took us a while to get to that, but
But we figured it out.
it out, and that's what matters, right? Um, one before we talk about the women's triple jump, we started to, but I want to talk about the men's triple jump that happened yesterday.
Yep.
Um, so I guess 2 days ago we had three jumpers out there. 2 qualified for the finals, and so one of the 2 kind of favorites out there I know were Zango and Hibbert, especially what Jaden Hibbert was doing in as an 18-year-old, just going out there. He's getting insane jumps out there, but he pulled up very first on his first jump. Looks like he injured his hamstring. And I saw his coach post a video afterwards that he got a little minor hamstring strain. Um, how is that heat and how is the preparation? Like, is that heat?
Mhm.
You think, especially younger athletes, just dealing with how to stay hydrated and how are you kind of approaching that with the competition and making sure that you don't get out there and get over fatigue?
Yeah. I could definitely see how that is an issue, not only just for younger athletes, actually. One of my friends from the US team in the triple jump, Donald Scott, he had some cramps while he was out there as well and wasn't able to continue jumping well. So it's definitely an issue, but I don't feel like I will have that issue. Training in Greece has me acclimated to all types of heat. So I'll be fine.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
also yeah. Donald, I forgot about Donald. Um,
Mhm.
so I'm looking at my notes here. Um,
Mhm.
talk about the 3 women that are out there, 3 U.S. jumpers. Um, 2 of which, or all 3, have at some point held an American record. Is that true? So y'all have been switching off.
Yes.
So y'all have been going back and forth. So you really have this American competition going. So not just between yourselves, but now you get to take it to the world. You're seeing this rise in the U.S. jumpers, which for a while there we haven't had. Right? You've had this international women's triple jumper, and for those who don't know, triple jump hasn't been, I guess, showcased on the women's side for the entire history. Right? It was 1989 that they officially recognized world records in women's, and then
Mhm.
96 Olympics, I think, was the first time they were actually held. So the longevity, even though it's been around, I guess they haven't recognized these incredible women talent for the history of it, right? It's kind of a shorter length of span. So how are you taking into account that you are a part of still the earlier stages of the sport and the history of it?
It's pretty exciting,
Yeah.
um, for many reasons. It's exciting, one from, like, an ego standpoint where it's like, "Wow," "look at me, I'm actually, like, a part of history and developing this event." That's awesome. It's very humbling. And then on the another hand, when you look at, for example, the men's or high jump or the 100 meters, and you see how the marks that they had back then and how they were jumping, like for high jump, jumping over it and in sand and all this stuff, like all these events have progressed so much because they've had the time to do that. And so I can't even imagine where the women's triple jump is going to be like in 5, 10 years. If you just that's just how it goes. It's crazy because right now we're all trying to get those healthy, legal 15-meter jumps, and I can just see in 10 years that's the norm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's look at the men's long jump back in the 60s, I believe, and the 8 meters was almost untouchable. Nobody will jump 8 meters, and
Yeah.
you're getting high schoolers jumping it practically. And so
Mhm.
on the women's side, that 15 meters, that's kind of the bar now that people are kind of searching for. 10 years, I'm really excited to look back. And you think you'll be jumping in 10 years?
No.
You're gonna be a coach though, or do you think you'll be on that coach path?
No, I don't wanna be a coach. Not a track and field coach, but yeah, I do wanna guide in other ways.
And that's where the nonprofit comes into play because
Exact
large group of the next generation, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, we're kind of getting to the end here, so I wanted to say thank you so much for taking the time here. I don't want to take up too much time because you've got to go get everything you need to do. You got to get that schedule written out. Have you already written out the schedule
No, not yet. I
for
have
tomorrow?
to do it.
You got to get that done. In final words, the last thing I want to ask you is if there is a young lady right now who is thinking about doing the jumps, but she hasn't really gone all in about it, right? Wants to do sprints or endurance or hurdles. What would you say to a young person just thinking about getting into the jumps?
I would say do it. It's so much fun. You get to play in the sand and practice is it's not easier, but it's different. And I think it's easier to play with because you're just kind of jumping. You know what I mean? So if you want to have fun, if you want to continue to love and enjoy and have yep, do jumps, do that.
Tori, you're amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time here to chat with me on this. Link in the description below for those who are watching to her book. And also be sure to check out tomorrow. Check out the women's triple jump and hopefully see her go all the way top and hold one of those medals. So thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, you take care.